Hi, everyone. Welcome to our 11th RFS TAC meeting. I'm going to go ahead and let people's screens get going here. We are waiting for our last TAC member who's just joined. Hi, Ender. I'm going to let you get your audio going here, and then I would say, Mark, we are ready to officially start the meeting whenever you are.
Hey, okay, so it's 9:32 Pacific time. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is our 11th TAC meeting, as Pam mentioned earlier. My name's Mark Bunch. I'm chair of the TAC, and I am a regulatory advisor for BP. And at this point, I'd like to hand over to Pam to kind of read the conflict of interest statement.
Thank you. So members of the Renewable Fuel Standard Technical Advisory Committee include representatives of fuel producers and suppliers who may have a conflict of interest when participating in the committee's creation and submission of recommendations to the BPS Director. If you have a potential conflict of interest, please state your name and the business with which you're associated. After disclosure, committee members with a potential conflict of interest may participate in any subsequent discussion and vote on the issue giving rise to the potential conflict of interest. So the way we manage this is to now call roll call. And I will ask each TAC member to state your name, the business with which you're associated, and say whether you're an apple or a pumpkin pie fan this time of year, or neither is fine as well. Let's start with you, Mark Bunch.
Yeah, hi, Mark Bunch, regulatory advisor BP. BP, we do have a conflict of interest as we supply fuels into Portland, both fossil and renewable. I would say that I'm an apple pie fan, though I do like both.
How about Mark Ventura?
He's
Mark's
muted.
still mute. He needs to be unmuted again.
Oh, okay. Let's go with Matthew Jubitson.
Hopefully you can hear me. Am I muted as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Nope, you're
great.
fine.
Matthew Jubitz, Jubitz Corporation, or distributor and retailer of R99 and B20 in the city of Portland. Potential conflict there. And boy, you have asked another hard question. I do enjoy both. It just depends on whose recipe. But I've been eating a lot of apples lately, so I'll say apple pie for now.
Super. Mark Ventura, are you able to join? Okay, super.
Yeah, thank you. I unmuted myself and anyway, I'm muted. So yes, I'm Mark Ventura with Phillips 66. Phillips 66 supplies also fuels in Portland and Oregon and the West Coast in general. So we have a potential conflict of interest. We supply fossil fuel and renewable fuel. I prefer apple tart than apple pie, but I did learn how to appreciate pumpkin pie as well.
Very good. Let's see, Chris.
Chris Eford, Next Clean Fuels. We are developing a RD and SAF facility at Port Westward in Columbia County, so I have a potential conflict of interest. I'm a pumpkin pie guy. Love it.
Super. How about you, Ender?
Hey, Ender Reed, Neste, RD, producer, definitely on the pumpkin side. And there's a possible conflict of interest for us. Thank you.
Andrew. We need to unmute you again. Hold on. Why don't you go ahead, Antonio, while I find Andrew. There we go.
Antonio's muted as well.
Why?
So I can jump in. I think I'm clear here.
Okay.
Apologies, I muted myself and should not have apparently. So I'm Andrew Dyke with Echo Northwest. No conflict of interest, and I like all kinds of pie, like both pumpkin and apple, but my favorite varies with the season. So I feel we're kind of in transition. Would prefer apple slightly. In another month, it'll be pumpkin.
Super. And Antonio.
Hello, everyone. Antonio Machado. I am with Western States Petroleum Association. And as we represent our members who are energy producers in the West Coast, we have a potential conflict of interest. And for me, it's an easy one. It would be apple pie.
Very good. All right. So I see the TAC members, you are probably naturally muting yourselves, but I think if you do that, it's difficult for me to keep you unmuted.
Yeah, it looks like we have to stay unmuted, otherwise we're going through having to request being
I'm gonna have
unmuted
to
again.
keep doing this. So yeah, and just for those joining us from the public, I normally have a tech person and co-facilitator, and unfortunately she's not here today. So please be gentle with me as I make our way through teching and facilitating the meeting. So that is roll. Mark, I guess
yeah.
I'll put that to you.
We've definitely got a quorum. So the first order of business is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. So can I have if everyone's looked at the minutes and is happy with the minutes? I know there was one suggested edit around maybe sort of including it as a face-to-face from the last one. I wasn't sure if you included that or not, but
Yeah, so that's the only amendment I've seen so far, and that simply was one sentence that I added saying that it was a hybrid meeting that took place both at BPS offices and online.
Were there any other potential changes from folks? In that case, could I have a proposal to approve the minutes as sent?
Move to adopt.
And a seconder, please.
A second.
Number of ayes to approve.
Aye.
Aye.
5, 6, 7.
Great.
Any nays? Okay, we have unanimous approval of the minutes.
Thank you.
So the next order of business is to see whether there's any agenda items that need to be changed, or are we going to stick with the current agenda as published?
So I am sharing my screen so you can see the agenda. Hold on a second here. Should be seeing that now. And I actually have one change to the agenda. I didn't receive any requests for public comment, but I did receive a letter this morning that I was hoping to share during essentially the public comment period, but I wanted to share that before we have discussion of the memo.
Okay.
So that's one proposal I have, is just to switch that public comments to essentially now 9:40. 9:41.
Okay. Is that substantial sufficient? We need to vote on that?
I technically, I think you're supposed to vote, yeah.
Okay. So can I have a proposal to accept the amended agenda as proposed? Do I see anyone?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thanks. Can we have votes? Yes. Those say aye.
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 Got everybody there? Any nays? Okay, the vote's carried. To accept the agenda with the change. Thanks, Pam.
You. So let me go ahead and pull that up now so you can see it.
Hey, Pam.
So yeah, hi, Ender.
Hi. I did see a couple of more in the chat that said that they signed up for comments. I don't know if you can see that in the chat. Ms. Glickman and Ms. Leonard.
Yeah, I didn't receive any emails. The registration's really clear. So
Okay.
let me see if anything came in. This you should be able to see, just for TAC members to keep us moving. You should be seeing the 350 PDX letter. And let's do this. If it's okay with you all, TAC members, even though I don't see any email requests for public comments, let's keep that public comment, the 5 minutes of public comment at the end of the meeting so we can allow people to speak. I think we should vote on that just to keep it all orderly. So if somebody can move for that, and thanks, Ender, for bringing that up.
Sure, then I'll move for keeping public comment open at the end and allowing those who would like to public comment to speak.
Second.
Those ayes saying aye.
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 Super.
Any nays? It's carried. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Ender.
So we'll keep that on. Have you had a chance to read the letter?
Trying
I
to.
will.
It's very
include-
small print for me, Pam.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Tim.
I'm on a smaller screen
Okay.
today.
Okay, let me make it larger. There we go. Okay, I'll start at the top and give us a few more minutes here.
Yeah, you can scroll down a little bit.
Okay,
So do we need to address this comment or?
you don't, this was addressed, yeah, it was addressed to the committee. And when I responded to Sharice, well, she had sent it to our director as well. So our directors received it, and then I will make sure the RFS staff, additional RFS staff receive it as well.
I mean, I can provide just a general comment feedback is
Hey, Mark, let me stop you a second. Pam, I'm not sure we want to do that right now, because that could be a rabbit hole if we're going to start responding
okay.
to these comments. I think we want to wait for the comment period, correct?
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, Mark. It's just so we don't get
No.
off track.
That makes sense.
Okay. Okay, so just popping back to the agenda, essentially we have, aside from public comment period, we have the rest of the meeting to look at the revisions on the draft memo. We'll see if there's any voting that can take place today, although we do have quite a few edits to go through. So if I were a betting person, I would say we may not be able to do voting today, but I'm not a betting person, so we'll see how it goes. And then I can debrief you a bit on my thoughts on debriefing on the TAC process, if time permits. So let me walk you through how I thought we could do this online. So I have the memo here, and what you're seeing right now is a version it's called simple markup. So this, well, let me show you what we all started with. So this is where we left it after our last meeting. And you can see, this is the track changes version of the document that you're all familiar with. This is where we left it, draft 5. And then I thought for just ease of discussion and review today, we could, use this simple markup version, which has accepted all track changes, but it's left your comments in the, on this right-hand column. And the other thing that I thought would be useful for today is I added line numbers. So if you have a specific paragraph that you want to discuss, you can say line 53, for example, and then it's easy for us to all jump to that particular paragraph. So the other document that we have that we can use today for online purposes is essentially just a blank Word document. This is something that I shared with you this morning. If you have, I defined a large edit as something more than 2 sentences, but you can kind of use your use your own judgment on that. But if there's something that you put into this, like you cut and paste into this, then I can switch screens and we can go back and forth. So, you know, as a reminder, what we're hoping to do is look through the document. I figured we literally just start on the first page, and start taking comments, any edit suggestions, and we'll just move through the document in that way. Is that making sense to everyone, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, it sounds good. We're going to have lots of windows open, I
Yeah.
suspect. So,
Yeah. I mean, the thing is you can have, since you have PDF versions of the draft 5, that's something you can have in front of you if you printed it out. Like, you don't need to be editing the document. I can manage any edits that you're recommending. But we'll just be doing that kind of live as we talk through the memo. So I thought we could start here.
One
Oh, go
additional
ahead.
comment that I did not receive like links to be live on this Word document. I guess I don't need to. I'm okay with looking at my PDF version and looking at this document online, but I did not receive
the links came out this morning, Mark.
There was a couple emails,
Yeah,
Mark,
I
and
have
then you
to
click in.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, I think it may be more functional to talk about it and let Pam make the edits
All right.
on here. Otherwise,
All right.
we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so page 1 conveniently ends right at the bottom, and this whole section you voted on at the last meeting. I would suggest we just move onto page 2, which starts with the methodology. That was something we discussed adding. I went ahead and added that language in between the meetings here. This is something we may need to change, obviously, because our meetings are continuing, so I can add to the methodology today. But is there anything that jumps out at you in methodology that doesn't sit right or doesn't make sense?
I would say the way this is kind of set up, it's sort of leading into the 2 options that were originally voted on, but those options evolved in our last meeting. And I'm just wondering whether there's a way to kind of maybe reflect that. Because there were several pieces that changed that. Because the voting was really it was just a capture in time at that
I know,
early on.
which evolved over.
Let me just, I've just dropped something in the draft page just as we can pick over that, maybe use that as a straw man into this. I don't know if you can share that. Yeah, everything is in there. So
Hold on. It is refreshing.
okay.
We aren't seeing it. Why not? Are you all seeing? Oh, there we go. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I think the proposal is that I would paste this into the methodology section to add more clarity.
Yeah, that's fine. Are we then saying that we're going to take this language and drop it, you know, the temporary aspects of it, and drop it into both of the options that we go into more detail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we can also streamline it potentially as well by having this sort of we're probably getting ahead of the skis on this one, but also the kind of the greet bit, because even with the temporary CI pause, you'd still want when the pause is taken off, you still want it to be reflective of the latest Greek model.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, don't we talk about that, but yeah, this is good clarification.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this as we go, so we can remain back in the report. So I feel like this language needs to be tweaked a little bit because but
Yeah, we discussed it in highest average rank, but yeah, it needs to go into the first, into the simple majority as well.
Okay, so can I move on to Mark had a suggestion? So we say here, all RFS TAC members agreed that the RFS should not be implemented as written. And then Mark had a suggestion for some clarification, which is it starts here, if the RFS is left unchanged. So just for purposes of it being a bit larger on your screens, let me do
Don't we have that, Mark, isn't that in the comments that are made? That language is in here somewhere.
Okay,
It's significantly higher. Sorry, I have to find it. I remember reading it.
yeah, it was just to provide introduction, but if it's explained below, it's fine. It's not a critical.
Yeah, it's on page 6, where TAC members also noted absence of public data, and then it goes through some
Okay.
points. Yeah.
All right, we can leave it alone. That's
Okay.
good.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is we can leave this sentence as is, because this information is already on page 6. The
But we want,
next,
sorry, Pam, but we're going to want to add in there the stuff about the greet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've got it down under the next one. But in either one, I think we're saying that even if it's paused, we need to conform the greet right there.
yeah, I just want to pull the language, so we're using the same language.
I got some again, I just dropping a suggestion into the blank page that kind of addresses.
Right. Yeah.
So are you suggesting that this be the new recommendation, the new first recommendation?
That's how I read that we kind of got to from the last meeting. Yeah, how it evolved, and that reflects that.
Yeah.
And I think again, I would still stick with remove, or temporarily remove, because pause. It's not as if the CI is changing in July next year. Only the volumetric piece is. So
I think one of the problems we had with remove, the language, the actual word remove, was what would trigger council action as opposed to no council action. And I think it was agreed that pause doesn't, but again, it's above my pay grade on that. I think we want to leave this in the discretion of the director.
Okay, I think just for, because this is a change in the actual recommendation, I want to leave this here, and I think we should vote on this before I delete this simple majority of the pause. I mean, it's essentially saying the same thing, but yeah, I want to leave that for now, knowing that we're gonna delete one or the other.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, I just think like if we're pausing it, we're basically keeping it at 40. Is kind of where
Yeah.
my read of this is. That's why I think it's sort of the language needs to kind of reflect the intent.
Well, but we're saying we're reviewing after 2 years anyway, so no decision's going to be made until after, no final decision's going to be made after 2 years. I'm just sensitive, and I actually just got a text message from someone who's listening in that thing about remove and pause is correct. If we go with the language remove, we'll probably have to go to council action. So we're in semantics here, but they may matter. I don't know. Again, I kick that to somebody who understands it a little better.
So Chris, then I think if we had pause, then we need to have temporarily pause the carbon intensity ... enforcement or something.
Okay. Yeah, don't disagree.
Would suspend work there? I mean, Mark, I think your point is that if you're just pausing, you're leaving it as is, but
Yes.
suspending would imply to me that the enforcement is not there immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that solves the problem or not.
So you're saying temporarily suspend the CI limit? Is that the proposal?
I guess my point here is I understand it temporarily and remove don't work in the same sentence here. Because if you can't temporarily remove. If you remove, the council has to vote on that, and now you've removed. And so it's not, you're going to review after 2 years, but now you're reviewing from a baseline of there is no CI, as opposed to there is a CI, we're reviewing if it should kick in or not.
I think suspend is good. I think Andrew's suggestion is a good way to capture it.
I'm good with that.
Got it. Okay. So this paragraph would then need work. So, I mean, you're voting on this now, so I think this most here may change depending on how you vote. And then, so we would start with either most or all or some, whatever you vote. And then RFS TAC members recommend suspending policies carbon intensity standard until June 30, 2028. And then I actually had, this was, this doesn't quite make sense to me because I think what it would need to say is that you want to, like, it would be on or before October. And I just think we need to put a date in there, like the way we have this report due on the 15th of October. So I would say on or before October 15, 2027, the TAC will reevaluate the current status of biodiesel and renewable diesel market and Portland and develop another recommendation. So it's basically putting another deadline on the TAC to provide another report, another memo.
Fine.
Is that okay with
That's good.
folks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So this would be on or before. Do I need a comment there? Okay,
So
that looks like a,
Pam, to stay consistent with the language, and I get this is semantics, but you have most highlighted there. Could we say a simple majority of RFS TAC members recommended? Because that's what it says up at the top, simple majority.
it does, I do think, I mean, don't you think you need to vote on this? I think we need to vote on
Yeah,
this since it's
absolutely.
changing.
So
So
Sorry,
once we
I'm-
vote, if it's a simple
suggestion.
majority, yeah, if
Yeah.
it's a simple majority, then we will say that. We can say
Well,
that.
hold on, because we're voting on two different things. We're going to say, we're voting on the language here.
Correct.
A simple
Yes.
majority agreeing to this term. This is going to get messy because,
Yeah.
yeah, we're inside, in my mind, we're inside of a recommendation, a high-level recommendation that was agreed to by a simple majority, which is, the carbon intensity, removing, now we're saying suspending, and now we're adding after 2 years. So now we're tweaking that language. Yeah, I'm going to twist myself in a circle here, but because we still have the split between the two, are we going to say which of the two then is, agreed to by everybody or just a simple majority or whatever? And then which is kind of ranked choice voted for the second one? We're getting, now we're actually going to be voting here as a group by simple majority, whereas we had two different methodologies before.
This is true.
Or does
And-
it matter at this point? I mean, so the voting we had before was at the time of the report of the status, whatever it was. So now, now we're kind of fine tune this, as Mark said, now it's becoming essentially a pausing of 2 years rather than elimination. So now I think, maybe instead of saying majority, whatever, even saying the most of the RFS TAC, we could say the RFS TAC as a body recommends option one or option two.
But the problem with that, Mark, is where I'm at personally is more number two. I don't think we should take the limit off. I understand what's being said here if that's what the group decides to do.
Right.
But then I think there should be a minority opinion that says, I'd rather have a smaller quantity and hold the 40 CI. So, and I'm not sure how we handle that inside of this document.
So maybe, I mean, here, I mean, so if we want to do that, maybe at this time today, or we could vote and say, okay, who's maybe in. So we have two options, and
Right.
and the vote is, who's voting for option one as a priority, is voting for option two as a priority, and then.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Of the
Yeah.
two.
Yep.
Yeah. Alternative is we just propose the two options,
Yeah. That is correct.
which is something we discussed on the last meeting.
Well, it seems to me the immediate vote is on the language, or who is okay with changing the language to what it is proposed here, which I agree with Chris. It's different than saying this is my preferred option. I think we do want to provide both options.
So should we just focus on the language for now then?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
I'm wondering, Pam, do we, as I look through this, I'm wondering if we even need the paragraph that starts at line 57. I guess we do because of the dates, but we might just want to incorporate the dates into the actual recommendation and then lose that second paragraph and just go straight to the pros and the cons. Because I'm not sure we get any, if we come up with the October 15 date, put that up in the actual recommendation, do we really need that second paragraph? The paragraph at line 57.
I mean, it becomes a long recommendation because I do think you want this October 15.
Yeah.
But that also can just be,
But that
you know.
that would apply to both of these options.
Mhm.
Would it though? Because this is kind of option one, temporarily suspend the carbon intensity, blah, 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 and then review the decision by
And the other
October 15th, 2027.
and the other one is temporarily suspending the volumetric. So
Yeah. Drop in the
Yeah.
same date.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think first step, well, okay, I guess you can't really vote on the language until you decide on this.
I'm not trying to complicate. We can leave the paragraph there. It's fine. I just think it's it gets a little redundant. If we just drop the date in on the one that starts at 52, I think we get there, but that's not a sword I'm gonna fall on, so no big deal.
So suggestion, we could have a statement such as the RFS TAC recommends or proposing two options. The one that is to pause the carbon intensity, the other one that is to reduce the percentage of biofuel and update the grid model. And then we have a vote on which one has the most vote essentially, and then we're saying, okay, the option one or whatever is the highest vote. Option two is a second option, or vice versa.
Not to overly complicate things even more, I'm curious, I'm wondering, because I'm betting that there's some people in the public watching this right now that are wondering what the heck are these guys doing. Should we have a statement in here fairly early that basically says, the TAC has concluded that there's insufficient volumes of low CI renewable diesel available in the market for now? Because I mean, we jump right into talking about limiting the program, and we haven't really said why we came to that conclusion.
Yeah,
So we went ahead. Yeah.
and these two options are basically just two pathways to trying to achieve the same.
Yeah.
Did you say low carbon?
Low carbon intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuel. Recommendations. I'm not sure if I'm getting this correctly, but let's wordsmith it afterward. Both recommendations address the carbon.
Yeah, definitely it's wordsmithing. I mean, again, when we talk about low carbon intensity biofuel, we're talking about the at or below 40 CI requirement.
Talking about biodiesel or renewable diesel.
Yeah. Yeah. Or biodistillates.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, I think Paul Reed would like to make a statement. Pam, can you unmute him when you get a chance?
Sorry, who, what?
Paul
Who am I
Reed.
unmuting?
Paul Reed is
Oh,
muted.
Ender? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Ender. There you go.
Thank you. My statement was to unmute me. Thank you. I accidentally muted, so I'm back in. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Mark.
Good. Okay. All right, so we're here. The RFS TAC has concluded that there's limited low carbon CI. I'll put the correct language, the at or below 40. available in the market. Both recommendations address current market conditions. Is that,
Yep.
is that it? Or?
Yeah, or address this issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, maybe whether it's kind of referencing some of the sections below what that go into more detail.
Recommendations address this issue. Yeah.
Good. And it sets the table.
Mm-hmm.
So here, instead of saying maybe simple majority so here again, we may say option 1 and option 2, and then it'll be listed in the order of the vote.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. And then that would be this language, and then we can list the vote results. Whoops.
Mhm.
Vote, and then option 2. Vote. And right now, I think Andrew's correct. We should vote. You should vote on whether this is the language you want to keep. You can always change it if you need to, but at least agree that this is language for option 1.
As opposed to what's above it, yeah.
As opposed to what's above. Yeah. So basically the vote is replacing this pause with this temporarily suspend language.
Yeah, and this is what I think we had an agreement around the table at the last meeting, although we didn't actually have a vote on it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree that this clarifies the conversation.
I move to adopt.
to adopt the replacement.
Right. The language from line 57 to line
To
60.
60. Anyone a second?
Second.
Those ayes? Those for?
Aye.
Any nays? Votes carried. Thanks, Chris.
So let's take a look without getting to the most here, because I think that's where your vote numbers come in. Let's just look at option 2 and make sure there weren't any. Are there any changes proposed to this language?
Whether the actual wording could be made more consistent with the first one, with the Greek reference, potentially, but I don't think there's
side by side.
anything really material.
Yeah, any future reinstates.
I think this one, yeah, probably would need to change a lot. It wouldn't be quite the same because you wouldn't be reinstating it. So
What about highest?
I think we need to take the Greek 4.0 off because we did say of the most recent Greek in the last meeting we had. So I think maybe that's just where it needs to be.
Yeah,
It needs to be aligned.
align carbon intensity with any
Just with the latest. Yeah, there you go.
future reinstated CI. Wait,
You don't
align
have to.
carbon intensity.
With a current.
Yeah, so it's the reinstated bit that's moot on this one.
Right.
So and you can take
Current. You don't need reinstated, right?
Right.
no.
With a current, yeah. Current.
Current CI to
Current Greek.
reflect.
Right. CI.
There you go.
Discrete body used by everybody.
Do we want to say carbon intensity calculation to differentiate between a number and
Yeah.
I'm listening.
To the current CI as to the current CI calculated per the latest adopted GREET model by Oregon DEQ.
Well, I think to be specific, should we say the current CI limit to reflect? I mean,
It's not really.
I mean, it's
guess-
adjusting the CI limit in the code, correct? I mean, I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
CI. And was there a place for calculation? I've not seen where that fits under
Sure,
alignment carbon intensity.
it's already in the first sentence, so
Okay.
maybe it's defined. It's defined in that first sentence. It says to calculate CI value, so it's there.
It's there, yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe instead of used by Oregon, adopted by Oregon. Yeah, right here.
You guys are getting a taste of what it's like to write policy.
Yeah.
It's like go around in circles. Okay. I guess I'm going back to highest average rank because you don't have simple majority up there anymore. So I think there's two things actually that have changed, and you will need to, I think, vote on this language again. This said 1 year after the last meeting, and then Mark adjusted it to reflect the other to make this consistent. So this now says 2 years. And then it's really not a highest average rank anymore.
Right.
Because you've changed it enough at this point. So
Option 2.
Yeah, we can replace, highest average ranking with option 2, yeah.
yeah, I'm not. Any comments before I do that?
Well, I'm not, I think taking that out there makes sense for the reason you mentioned, but at the same time, I think there's useful information in knowing that there was a sort of divergence. If you look at simple majority, the preference would have been for option 1, highest rank or highest average rank, option 2. That provides useful information, I think, depending on how we end up voting on 1 and 2.
I'm just going back up to methodology to see, okay, results from the survey were tallied in 2 ways. So maybe what I need to do is add the original, the 2 options that you voted on by simple majority and average rank, and put them here. So they're up top in the methodology. We say what transpired.
Yep.
And then it's like, but at September, and we can even say at subsequent meetings because it's the 11th and today.
Yep.
There was consensus of opinion to modify original options, So I think I need to add that language up here, and I can take that from the appendix, and it's in the appendix. So,
yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of option 1 is here because it was the simple
Yeah.
majority. Option 2 is here because it was the highest average rank, and they evolved.
Yeah, exactly. That this is the history of how we got to where we are.
yeah. Okay. Okay, so the next version will have that. That's just my note. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I realize the paragraph spacing isn't working. I will get that working. Not doing it. Oh, there it goes. Okay, good.
Without wanting to complicate this, I mean, the alignment with the CI, is that something? So again, that will just be the timing of when this July kicks in rather than like immediate. Yeah. So That's
I
fine.
mean, yeah. And
Yeah, it's okay.
if-
I'm just
Yeah, if DEQ follows what they, they publish that they do with the GREET model, it
Mhm.
won't be updated. I mean, we were talking about 2 years, you would be just pushing where GREET might get updated again. So I think we'll still be at 4.0 when you're making your recommendation for either of the, like if either of these two were accepted by the director, then you would still be in GREET 4.0 when you're making your next recommendation.
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Because I think the earliest the state might update to a 5.0 would be end of 27. But that would be the absolute earliest. It might be more like 28, 29, 2028 or 2029.
Okay. Okay. Do we need to vote on this one now? Is everyone happy to?
I think you should, yeah.
Okay.
Somebody is ready to,
Hey, Pam, sorry, one last thing.
yeah.
Maybe change latest to the. There, I agree with you. There's always a lag between when GREET passes their model and when the state passes the latest GREET. So maybe just say reflect the GREET model adopted by the program, so that way there's no confusion between the latest GREET and Oregon's current model.
Okay.
Is there anything that we've just done here with reference to the GREET that we need to tweak on the earlier run as well, so they're consistent? I know we could maybe you vote them both together again if we need to. So
I will. Oh boy. Oh, they're gonna end up on 2 pages. Hold on. Let's see. It's okay. Okay, you should be able to see that.
Okay, yeah, to
because we've got
reflect
the
GREET
GREET model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the GREET model adopted. Adopted instead of used.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna keep, yeah, okay.
So now I think you're voting on both of these.
Yeah.
Or you could vote on this singularly and then both of them. I guess we've changed them both at this point, so you should just vote on both.
Can I have someone propose to accept the both of the changes as written on the screen here?
Yeah, I move a motion to adopt the language as proposed.
Second,
And a seconder?
second.
Chris, thanks. Can I see those ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
All ayes? Any nays? Okay, votes carried. So we're going to accept both of these as we have up here on the screen. Thank you.
I'm going to resolve these comments as we go. I'm leaving this highlighted because you haven't actually taken these votes yet on option 1 and option 2. So I'm going to leave that highlighted until we get there. But I can resolve these threads. Okay, that's resolved as well. Okay. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Did you want to take a minute just to look at pros and cons? I will go through and update the language to
So that-
reflect that instead of
yeah.
temporary pausing, I'll read through it, in editing mode and change all of that to suspending. But
So if
anything?
we look at this language further down on line 78, actually 79, where it says mass balancing, I'd suggested this is a very minor technical and it's not a big deal. Instead
Book
of
and
saying
claim.
mass balancing, maybe using the term book and claim, because that's the term used in the regulation, just to, but you know, if we prefer to leave mass balancing, no big deal.
Yeah, let's change that. I mean, I would suggest it's a
Yeah.
just for consistency. It's a
Yeah.
good suggestion.
Yeah.
So wherever we got pausing, it's going to be temporarily suspending.
Here. 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 Yeah, it looks like it's just those 3 paragraphs. Yeah.
Okay.
So. I can just do it now. All right.
We need to see that where we are on that 78 through 80. It's really, again, it's only a temporary.
So you want me to say it?
Well, it's either that or whether it's just whether that power is kind of moot if it's not permanent.
Thoughts on that from the TAC? I think Mark's suggesting removing this paragraph.
Or adjusting it just to say that it would be temporary leave. Or maybe even more lead in time too.
I'm wondering if we're mixing apples and oranges here. Yeah, I don't disagree. It gives more runway for people to prepare to, to blend in, to do book and claim and everything else. The counter argument could be, hey, everybody's known this is coming. They should have prepared. I'm not putting a value judgment on it at all. I'm fine either way. I'll leave it in or take it out.
Yeah.
Any thoughts from other folks?
You can almost take that 78 to 80 out and just proceed to the con because you kind of hit it there too. By proceeding to 50%, you're, you could potentially be causing some supply and logistics constraints, which is really, kind of what we're addressing.
I think that's 78 to 80, and I think there were some other pieces in here as well that we'll maybe come across there. We're kind of more around what the original option was, as opposed to what's kind of been adopted now. So I mean, I'm happy with taking that out. I know the other folks are.
That. Does anybody oppose that?
Okay.
I'm gonna go
I
ahead.
have a problem either way.
Are we going to be able to see that removal in the markup? Just again,
Yeah.
if we have to revote, if you have to vote on the sections.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, yeah, so it'll be showing up, oh, this here. So if we were to go back, if we were doing this in the track change mode.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, it's up here. You'll see that it's been removed.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I think based on the suggestion to add language in the methodology around the original ranking and simple majority voting, I think this leaves this a little bit, I think it's confusing where it is now.
Yep.
So I think this should be incorporated into the methodology.
Mhm.
Does anybody disagree with that?
So I guess so we had whatever we voted before that you may incorporate, but now we're gonna be, so there's gonna be two options. I guess what are we gonna want to do? The question is, for this vote today, if we're taking a vote, are we gonna do just simple majority on the two options? Are we gonna do something else, rank choice, or what do we want to do? I mean, it'd be okay to just do simple majority on the option we're proposing today, but if other folks want to do it differently, up to the TAC.
Yeah, I'd suggest, I mean, the two options to me seem to be, one, we've described methodology and how we landed on the recommendations that ultimately evolved into what we have here, and we could vote, yes, I think we should present this recommendation, or no, I should not. The other way is, I prefer option one to option two. I think they're very different things, but we need to be clear on what we're doing.
Or do we just, again, or do we just basically propose both options without voicing
Exactly.
a preference? I mean,
Yep.
So then the vote is essentially on the language that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I will remove this. Put it here just as a reminder for myself. And then I just want to see. So right now, the way this reads is essentially you're not making a preference. You're going to say both recommendations address this issue. So we could leave it with this language. And when you vote, well, we wouldn't be voting on option one or option two at this point. You would be leaving it as the two recommendations. Is that correct?
With the pros and cons in there, and then
Yeah.
then the director can basically.
Yeah.
Because I think we got to this point, these two options, like I think everybody's.
Yeah. We've defined the problem as there not being enough of the fuel in the market, and these are the two options we've come up with to address that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to remove that. This will no longer be most.
Right.
It's just RFS TAC members recommend. And then down here, I mean, I'll let you tackle that. We could just say RFS TAC members recommend, or it can just say what it says, but.
Yeah.
We may, just as an aside here, Pam, after this meeting, you may want to confer with the director and see if he's going to be okay having two options. Or does he want us to come back and actually have a vote and give him an option to recommend, in which case we would then probably have a minority report, which says, okay, here's the other one. I just don't know if functionally, if we said, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I have seen other TACs make more than one recommendation.
Okay.
So I don't want to speak for Eric, but I do think more than one is fine.
Okay.
I don't think you would want to give 5,
No.
but 2, like these are giving 2 different recommendations, but like for a reason, right? A technical reason. So yeah, no, I think you're fine. I
Okay.
think you're fine with 2. Okay, I'm just looking at time.
Yeah.
We are not going to get all the way through this, which is fine. We have October 2nd. And I want to, let's see, let me go into the chat. I might want to pause this a few minutes early just so I can get people unmuted for public comment. So
Yeah, I think we're at a pretty good stopping point. We've handled the 2 big ones unless somebody has some specific things in the pros or cons of each of the 2 options. Then then the document goes into a lot of kind of related items. And given the time constraints and the fact that we have some public comment, I'm not sure it's a good idea to jump into those right now. Jump into
Maybe
the other stuff in the document. Sorry.
it may be something, again, we can vote on if needed, is whether for the October 2nd, do we want to look at having a longer duration for it as a potential, given that's kind of like their last scheduled call. It's obviously the hour and a half once we get through kind of like the available time in reality for doing the editing is probably about an hour of that.
Yeah.
And we probably want to be adding at least another hour on, I think, to what we've been allowing ourselves so far.
Yeah,
Even if we don't need to use it all, it's schedule. So
agree. People just need to check availability. I'm fine on the 2nd, so we can take. But we need to see what everybody else has.
So I would not be available for the additional hour.
we could start an hour earlier.
Yeah.
People don't need to look at calendars now. I think maybe we just need to propose an extra hour on the meeting. And maybe make a motion to add that. And then after we end today, we can work on whether that's adding an hour to the beginning or the end.
Motion to add an extra hour to the next meeting.
the seconder.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those say aye.
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 Okay. Looks like we've got a 2.5 hour meeting on October 2nd. I think
Good.
it's just a case of scheduling it to whether it's an hour before or an hour in. Yeah. So it sounds like if Andrew's available an hour before others.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And let's get some people unmuted. I have to laugh because normally I have tech assistants and I don't know. This would be going better. Okay, Marnie, I see that, and I'm just going to apologize to folks. I'm not going to be able to manage exact order. But given, Andrew, you said there were at least 2 or 3 people.
That's what I saw. It's maybe 4 now.
Okay. So let's do a minute and a half per speaker. And Marnie, I'm gonna go ahead. You would think this would be easier. Oh, here I can find. I'm gonna unmute you now, and you've got a minute and a half. When you're ready, go ahead. We heard you.
I can't hear anything. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, okay, let's
And it would be
come
nice
back.
if we can see video too.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's find another participant here. Hey, Ender, can I ask you to help scroll through the chat with me so
Sure.
I can see who to unmute?
Lynn Handlin, if she's still here.
Okay. Lynn, I'm unmuting you now. Go ahead and take a minute and a half.
Yeah. Hi, my
Great.
name is Lynn Handlin, and when I heard about this meeting, I was quite disturbed. When the city staffers granted Zenith their Lux, it was based on the strong renewable fuel standards. And a lot of us were concerned that the city staffers would turn around when industry came calling and seriously weaken and delay those standards. And here we are today. Y'all are trying to weaken and delay the standards, and you're saying it's because there's not enough available product. That's because y'all delayed too long already, and California and Washington have better standards. Your delay is should not cost us all. And I mean, yes, we knew from the very beginning there's not enough French fry grease to go around, but y'all kept saying, no, it'll work. And now you're saying it doesn't. So we need to be transitioning away from liquid fuels and not enabling those who trade in them. People in low-income communities especially are impacted by the dirty diesel that we're trying to fix with the renewable fuel standards, and they can't afford these delays. It's choking them. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Ender, can you call out another name for me?
Audrey Leonard.
Audrey. Okay, Audrey.
Good morning. My name is Audrey Leonard, staff attorney for Columbia Riverkeeper. My comment today focuses on the hypocrisy of Next Clean Fuels, a Houston-based company proposing to build what would be the second largest, quote unquote, renewable diesel refinery at River Mile 53 of the Columbia River estuary just north of Clatskanie, Oregon. Since Next's original proposal in 2019, the company has invoked a series of bait and switch tactics to earn support from locals and regulators. The first of these was Next's original promise to rely primarily on barges to ship raw material to the facility in order to assuage local concern about long trains blocking farm and emergency access. When Next went back on its promise by proposing miles of rail line and holding areas, the pieces started coming together. Rather than using primarily fish grease, used cooking oils, and animal tallows, truly low carbon feedstocks, Next intends to bring in purpose-grown soy and corn oil from the Midwest by rail. These feedstocks have a higher CI score. Next bought regulator support for its facility by promising to make a low carbon product, advertising low carbon feedstocks and promising to meet a life cycle CI score of 40. Now, through this TAC, the company is recommending that Portland weaken and delay its RFS. We're asking regulators to see Next for what it is, a company that does not keep its promises, selling a product with waffling climate benefits. The Next refinery would be a disaster for the Columbia River estuary and the agricultural community at Port Westward. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for keeping your comments to a minute and a half. Ender, do we have another
Sure.
speaker?
Next one I see is Diana Meisenhelter.
Diane, got it. Okay, Diane, you're unmuted when you're ready.
Yeah. Shamefully, this industry heavy group is dismantling the very essence of the supposed benefits of the city's renewable fuel strategy by changing carbon intensity standards, potentially lowering the first installment of the fuel mix to 20%. And in this critical time of climate delay, when we're supposed to have emissions from 5 years, delaying implementation until 2028. After fighting penalties for polluter pay policies for years, including our own Oregon Climate Protection Plan, We have little empathy for arguments saying that we don't have cap and rack. Oregon companies are, and that Oregon companies are at a disadvantage to California and Washington's more stringent carbon standards in competition for low CI feedstocks. We question the Stillwater stack graph, which does not seem to account for any CCI penalties that the Climate Protection Plan did put in place. While we've long argued that for individual fuels, the actual CI numbers are difficult to trust in the modeling. It's specious to brush off carbon intensity numbers as insignificant altogether, as local air quality is not the issue, but the life cycle effects on emissions and climate change overall are still critical. Without lower CI in place, the supposed climate benefits of the renewable fuel policy are minimal. The strategy is also gutted if the fuels mix standards are reduced to 20% mix, having minimal climate impact. When as a volunteer net, there was an unusual tornado touchdown in Portland. It's happened in my neighborhood the year I joined Extinction Rebellion PDX. When it's 115 degrees outside and over 100 Oregonians lose their lives. When wildfire smoke blankets our state. When as part of a global climate group, we spend hours weekly dealing with climate
In over a minute and a half.
that are much worse right now in Africa, Latin America, and South Pacific than here. Carbon intensity matters. We're appalled that the city set up an advisory committee with this composition to begin with. And this is in essence why other industries are not allowed to self-regulate. So
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. I want to make time for our next speaker. Thank you.
And
Let me go back to Marnie. Or was there another speaker?
yeah, I would go back to Marnie.
Okay. Thank you, Ender. Marnie, are you available? Let's give her a few seconds here. Okay, was there anybody else? Ender?
I don't see anyone.
Okay. Thank you so much for that help.
Sure thing.
So that brings us.
Audrey, sorry.
Oh, go
Audrey
ahead.
Leonard? I thought Audrey Leonard.
We did hear from Audrey.
we
We
Yeah.
already heard from Audrey. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So that brings us to next steps, which essentially will be an extension of today's meeting. As you already voted, we'll add an extra hour. I'll work with you after today's meeting on that. So the next meeting will be held on October 2nd, adding an hour on either side of the meeting. We do send out the registration details. I shoot for at least a week in advance, or I shoot for a week in advance. I think the bylaws require us to do 2 days in advance, but I'm going to get everything out to all of you well in advance of October 2nd. In terms of agenda, we obviously highest priority is getting through the next draft of the report, voting on that report. And then I would say if we have time, I will be prepared to run through a debrief session with you. The framework I would propose using is called a start, stop, continue framework. So what that looks like is taking our work schedule and kind of the highlights of how we got here, putting that into a table, and then using that as a way to jump into a discussion on whether we should start something new around that, whether we should stop doing it completely, or whether we should continue it. And then there's obviously room to add things we haven't thought of. But yeah, we're a year and a half in, both creating the process for this, and now we have this draft report in front of us. So good work. And with that, I'm going to let Mark close the meeting when you're ready. There may be additional comments from any TAC members. We do have some time for that now. That's all I have in terms of next steps.
Okay. Well, let's thank you, Pam. Well, let's check if there's any comments from TAC members.
I may
Go on,
have one,
Antonio.
Mark, and, and given that, we it would change the tone of the answers that we came up as a TAC, and also seeing that this is going to be, knowing that this is a public document and that people are commenting on it. And I was thinking, would it be important to acknowledge the complex, realities on the ground that we see, and maybe in the document establishing at the beginning before we establish what we agreed upon as a TAC, but including like a little comment about infrastructure limitations that can affect our ability to transition, smoothly and responsibly to renewable fuels. And, because without thoughtful implementation and flexibility that accounts for supply chain, challenges that we understand, these efforts may lead to unintended consequences. And this is what some people don't understand. And this truly can make it ineffective. So it must be developed in tandem with sound logistical planning, things that we discussed here, economic feasibility and open dialogue as we have been doing it. But, we need to address these things and be able to share that, if we're not careful, and that's why we're doing this, we're both undermining environmental and economic outcomes. So a little paragraph before, just to say, this is what we see as a TAC. We understand the capabilities, and then going into the results. I don't know if that's a good approach. I just think that will be able to send a more robust message to the public, and not only to the director.
Hey, I'm going to make a comment as well, because I've got feeds coming in from my Oregon team. What we're doing here, what we're trying to figure out to keep, Portland on track with their renewable diesel R99 and doing it in a way that doesn't blow prices out in the marketplace. It's being spun the exact opposite way in the media already. It's already trending out there. So just be aware. It's going to happen. We've lived with it for years, but we need to be mindful of the fact that the document reflects the fact that we are a technical advisory committee. It's our job to look at the technical aspects of what's going on, the economics, the availability of the physical product, et cetera, and then make a technical recommendation and let the policy people do what the policy people will do. And so I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Thanks, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Any other
anyone
thoughts?
have any thoughts on Antonio's suggestion to add a paragraph about infrastructure limitations, logistical planning, etc.?
Yeah, I can think of that. We actually have a section in the
Yeah.
report, but at the end about the terminals, maybe we can bring that forward or
Yeah.
all that.
I'd agree with Mark. I don't think it's something that we have to write new. It's maybe just kind of moving things around and bringing it up to the front.
Okay.
And maybe we can elaborate on that, obviously.
Why don't you let me read through these paragraphs and see if I can find a good place for all or part of this, and then bring that to you with the next draft, because we don't have time today to do that together, but I can do that and then show it as track changes.
Okay. Any other thoughts, comments?
Sure. Pam, thank you so much for your leadership on this and all of the work you're doing. It's a lot. So thank you. And thank the public for coming and speaking their mind as well. That's so important. So
yep.
That's
thanks,
all
Senator. Yeah, I'd give thank you, Pam. Thank you to the TAC, and most of all, thank you for the members of the public taking time to contribute today. It's much appreciated. And on that, I am going to officially adjourn the meeting, and we will meet again on October 2nd. Thank you very much.
Good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.